So when you get to the problems in the study guide that deal with graphing the other four functions, not the sine and the cosine, the question is on the test is really just all about the asymptotes, right? No matter what the problems in the book says, which is like match the graphs with the functions that are underneath. Well, every one of these functions has asymptotes, right? How do we know where the asymptotes are? Well, if you rewrite these as sines and cosines, then every one of these ends up with a denominator, which could equal 0. That's how you find the asymptotes. Like secant is 1 over cosine, right? So if I write that like 1 over the cosine of x over 2, then wherever that cosine equals 0, that's going to be an asymptote. Okay, well, where does cosine equal 0? Pi over 2, 3 pi over 2, et cetera, right? So you would have to take this and say when x over 2 equals pi over 2, or 3 pi over 2, right, or 5 pi over 2, just keep going around, then this function will equal 0, and you're dividing by 0, and you have an asymptote. But you have to solve it for x first. Multiply by 2, right? So if I multiply everything by 2, then I get x equals pi, 3 pi, 5 pi, etc. Right? It's periodic, so it repeats itself. Right? How about a cotangent? Right? If I rewrite that as sines and cosines, what will it be? No, sines and cosines. Cosine over sine, right? So the cosine of pi x over 2 divided by the sine of pi x over 2. Okay, so this thing will have an asymptote when the sine equals 0. Okay, well, where does the sine equal 0? 0 and pi and 2 pi and 3 pi, and every pi around, it's another place where the sine equals 0. So I would have to set this angle, right, pi x over 2 equals 0, pi, 2 pi, 3 pi. But again, that is not solved for x. How am I going to solve that for x? No. Multiply by? What's the reciprocal of pi over 2? 2 over pi, right? 2 over pi. On the left, those will cancel, and I just get the x. Right? On the right, I'll get 0. Right? The pi's will cancel in every case, and I'll just get 2 pi, 4 pi, 6 pi. Oh, you're right. No, I meant that. Right. No. No, wait, Justice is right. Right, the pi's canceled, and it's 2 times 1, so that's 2. And 2 times 2 is 4, and 6, and... So it's all about asymptotes, you know. If it was a cosecant, 1 over sine. You need the zeros for sine. If it's tangent, sine over cosine. You need the zeros for cosine.